Good morning, good evening, good night. NFT Live, Web3 Network, taking you around the industry and back in under an hour. Sitting here with some of the finest folks in the industry. I'm excited to be talking about everything that needs to be talked about today. Nice to see you guys in chat early. Sarah, Squashman, Peter Koo. Yes, it's a Yuga FUD title today. We'll see what we can get into. All right, we're going to go around the circle, but starting with Hudah, we do have a special intro here. So let's get it.
Holy shit. Wow, boys, my kids better step up their game tonight. Holy cow.
It is this man's 42nd birthday?
43, bro.
43.
Crazy.
Okay. How's it feel?
It's weird. I was always like, when I was younger, I was like scared of getting older. I like it. I like every year I just kind of get more excited and more hungry, and I'm just more motivated. And maybe that's something that happens as you get older, but I'm like happier than ever. Again, more motivated than ever. I love it.
Awesome, man.
It's the new 20s, Q. I don't know if you know that. 40s is the new 20s. Well, dude, with life expectancy going up, I don't know, like if you've seen all this stuff on like rejuvenation science going, people are talking about us living up to 120 now. They're like,
I don't think it's going up, man. I think we're dying much younger is what I read. So,
well, if
so
you're
saying
saying
40
in these markets, yeah, with these stress levels, yeah, maybe that's the case.
The reason why the numbers have been going down in the US is because of obesity and opioids and pills and depression specifically.
Yep.
So as long as you're like healthy and able to take care of yourself and not go either like not go bad mentally or physically, like by eating too much, or at least
being
doing
in crypto for too long.
Being in crypto for too long, like as long as you're active and trying to take care of yourself, I think you can live a long time. But the opioid epidemic is one of those things that, man, like honestly, our politicians and our people in power don't talk about it enough because they know that they fucked up.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I'm sure we've all lost friends to that. It's a brutal thing. I was trapped in that for a while too. But anyway, that's a heavy topic for this show.
Yeah, we're getting started on the right foot.
Anyway,
big happy birthday.
Yeah,
thank you guys.
Hudah.
For real, appreciate it.
Awesome. Biggie Poppins is next, rocking his newsboy hat, I might add, pretty well.
Yeah, I thought I'd switch it up today. You know, I was
Love
like, it's like my little my Mad Labs cap. Let's just call it.
Oh,
you know.
Oh wow.
Hey, it's all good. I like the Mad Labs, dude. I'm loving what's going on in Solana, so maybe that's the reason I was like, let's put this on.
This is almost like the moment, though.
They might say.
Yeah, but this is almost like the moment when Nifty Q changed his Bored Ape PFP. I mean, wow. This is like, maybe everybody should be paying attention. What does this mean for the Moonbirds?
No.
You got one of the biggest influencers in the community changing his hat. I'm just saying.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just doing it because I like it. It's nice.
All right. Gift Ed, fresh off GM Web3 Morning Show with Valeria Games. That was a fantastic one. If you weren't bullish before that show, you're probably bullish now. How was it?
Yeah, well, we got to say thank you to Cats Fanatic, an amazing community member here who absolutely just showed up and made that happen by pure passion and willpower. And Hudah, I think also part of that, sort of just like urging us to be like, yeah, they're legit. Check them out. Give them a chance. And I have to say, I am a little bit more bullish after that conversation. Didn't really have that much insight into the product at all or the team. And so we got more of that. And the one thing there's two things that make me bullish. It's that the way that they're using Polygon tech to scale the in-game assets, but they're not using any of the user sort of interface, the native dApps of Polygon, and they're not making people go buy or bridge or create wallets or any of that shit. They're totally abstracting that away. That's good because that would be a point of concern using Polygon. But the other thing was how nerdy he was about Pokemon and like the storytelling aspect of it, I just think that that's really bullish because again, we've seen when you have truly passionate founders who actually love the type of thing that they're making, they're not just there for the money. They actually want to tell a great story and create something that means something to people because it means so much to them. That's really interesting.
Yeah, adding on to that alpha piece, when those founders make something, they often attract people who almost come off like cold followers, right? Like that's when they're like, "Hey, have you heard the good word? Please come into the episode more. If you have another project out there and you're just sitting there watching us and you haven't shilled it, please just let us know, man, because we're super interested to find out about good founders building dope stuff. All right, we are gonna get into a lot of things happening around the space. Solana is in full send mode. Crypto Elf is saying Tensorian's sending. I did just see that from Degenerate News. So OK Bears, GIF, your OK Bears might be the next up, if not already. But Tensorian's floor price breaks 90 SOL. That is an all-time high for them. Yeah, don't overcomplicate this, folks. It's a Solana narrative right now. The question being how long does it last and where the hell do we go? But
I bought the local top on OK Bears, so they're down from where I bought them. But I still think that in this next upcoming run that they're going to be one of those that does tremendously well. So I'm going to hold that, and I think it'll probably do well. But yeah, it had already kind of pumped when I bought it.
Okay, there's a ton on the dashboard. We are going to get to Reebok, who had a big announcement about their entrance in the space with ReebokImpact. We're going to talk Yuga Labs and Bored Ape Yacht Club. So Marty, just buckle your seatbelt, stay here for a little while, and we'll get to it. eBay has something. ChampionsVerse here with Ubisoft. So a lot of actually big brands. I didn't notice that while I was putting it together, but that's all traditional brands in Web3. We're going to touch on Solana. Vera Molnar, we will hit here in a second. She passed away yesterday, I believe, or this morning. So yeah, we want to give a portion of the show, of course, to highlighting what an amazing innovator she was on the generative art front. Doing that all the way back in 1960. That's unbelievable to me. Grails Grails V, Big U. That's what you're here. You're going to touch on Grails V. I know it. And then a few others. Hudah, you were dropping land here, like real estate on the blockchain. Forbes getting their first NFT as well. So we'll get to some of that too.
And I dropped one from Des Lucrece also for his soup cans.
Ooh.
It's gonna be fucking fire. They
Real
look
nice.
amazing. Yeah.
Okay, so a full impact episode, as you guys have just heard. GIF, let's hit him with a disclaimer. Guys, I'm going to drop the link in there as well for you guys to help share out on X. Get as many folks in here. Let's go.
R.I.P. to the legend, Vera Molnar. Yes. I see you, Sarah, over there. Look, fam, y'all already know what's coming. Shouldn't be a shock to anybody at this point, but we have to keep saying it for your safety and ours, because God forbid that you listen to us talk about some shitcoin and then go do what I often do and just go ape shit ham into it for no apparent reason. We'd feel horrible. We really would. So just remember that we are not responsible for your bags. Truly, we are not financial advisors. All of this is just public information, things that we find on the internet that we think are cool. So we're just talking about cool things that we think you might want to know about. But you should always look deeper, do your own research, and understand that, it's on you at the end of the day, man. It's not on us.
All right, I want to bring up something real quick. This is not the Alex Jones podcast, but I have to bring up this soundbite. This is one of the most awesome soundbites I've heard on the political front for a long time. I just have to play this entire thing. See you on the other side.
So I'll call her Nikki when she can say my own name right. That's our little fun side bet there. Here's what I will say is deeper. I don't question her faith, but I question her authenticity. Oh, and I think that's deeper here. We were just talking about the trans issue. This is a symptom of a deeper cancer in American life. Identity politics. This new religion that says your race, your gender, and your sexuality are play the same game. We're talking about that trans issue. Criticized Ronna McDaniel. I have a problem. Nikki, I don't have a woman.
Okay, that did not have the clip I was looking for, so I'll try to find that.
Yeah.
But basically, he called her out on not knowing any of the provinces in Ukraine when she's trying to send U.S. troops to Ukraine. So I'm going to try to find that piece if I can.
Vivek's just getting the NFT Live pump here right at the beginning. He's just getting the NFT Live bump. But no, like he's the one thing that I took away from this piece that you're loving is that this guy, I think a lot of people have been trying to dismiss him as just like some crazy nut, but he is absolutely running circles on these stages. He's running circles around these people. I think, you're the one that said he's like 50 IQ points smarter than everybody on that stage. He knows how to debate. And you can't ignore him at this point because he's been hitting these debates and he's been hitting it hard, and he's absolutely making these people look foolish on stage.
It feels like he has an IQ that's like 50 points higher than everybody.
So foreign policy experience
watch
is not the same as foreign policy wisdom. I want everybody at home to note that I was the first person to say we need a reasonable peace deal in Ukraine. Now a lot of the neocons are quietly coming along to that position, with the exceptions of Nikki Haley and Joe Biden, who still support this, what I believe is pointless war in Ukraine. And I think those with foreign policy experience, one thing that Joe Biden and Nikki Haley have in common is that neither of them could even state for you 3 provinces in eastern Ukraine that they want to send our troops to actually fight for. Look at that. This is what I want people to understand. These people have, she has no idea what the hell the names of those provinces are, but she wants to send our sons and daughters and our troops and our military equipment to go fight it. So reject this myth that they've been selling you, that somebody had a cup of coffee stint at the UN and then makes $8 million after, has real foreign policy experience. It takes an outsider to see this through. Look at the blank expression. She doesn't know the names of the provinces that she wants to actually fight for. And there's her puppet masters right there, the donor.
So Sarah has some strong words over here. Vivek panders to extremists. He's married to a doctor, but is an anti-vaxxer playing a role to win this. True, but
I love politics.
Yeah, it's politics, man. And
wherever you stand on that,
yeah,
wherever you stand on the Vivek spectrum, that sound clip is undeniable.
Dude, the video clip with her blank face that's rough, man. Like literally, they just like zoom in on her, and she's just sitting there like what's happening? She's like, holy shit.
Look,
nobody's supposed to ask me about what's actually happening. Like
Squash is saying think he's trying to pump his Vivek badge. Yeah. True. But I'm not even voting for any of these people up here. I'm looking at a clip trying to be objective about something that I just was able to watch with my eyes and hear with my ears. And that was one of the finest finessings I've ever seen on a political stage before. I mean, dude, that's fucking crazy. She couldn't name a single province in Ukraine when prompted, and yet she's making policy decisions on us going to war with them. It's wild. All right, so a little bit positive note here on the traditional media side. Looks like we're on Yahoo Finance here. Look over there in the corner. What do we see?
Sweet little Pudgy there, right? Or regular Pudgy.
Dude, Pudgies are going everywhere, bro.
They are.
Literally going to the moon. They're gonna be like one of the first NFTs. Like you're literally gonna see like in 2024, you're gonna see a display like this with little fucking plushies up there sitting on the fucking moon when we start doing our walks again up there.
And Luke is gonna be explaining the top funnel in that moment. Yes. All right.
This is why you can have high end and also low end affordable things living as one. Yeah. He'll be up there in a fucking like spacesuit.
All right, thrilled to announce our exclusive partnership with Reebok to leverage our AI and metaverse technologies to revolutionize digital fashion. I mean, there's a checklist there of all the hot terms there on Google Trends: AI, metaverse, digital fashion, NFTs. I don't think they used, but together we introduced ReebokImpact. So another trailer for the maxis out there. Let's check it out.
He's gonna be like smart shoes now.
Dude, sweet. I hope they're smart shoes. I was never a shoe guy ever before Web3 stuff, ever. And like I'm starting to like sneakers now and shoes. So I don't know.
So we now have Dot Swoosh, Adidas Alts, Reebok Impact. Who's next? What
Puma.
are we missing?
Puma has one.
Yep.
Puma's already in it. What's theirs called?
Puma.
I don't know what the Puma one is, but I know Jawa was saying that New Balance isn't in. So the 407s.
New Balance got to come in.
Dude,
The
when
new-
Birkenstocks, please. Smart
Yeah,
Birkenstocks. That's what we need.
The New Balance. I'm sure Gary V is probably working on a K-Swiss platform. And then, you got to have Doc Martens and you got to have Skechers. That's when the bull market is back. When Skechers launches their Web3 initiative, that is full bull market. Sell everything.
Hey,
we hit the top.
Remember, we got Crocs too. We got those Doodles Crocs.
Crocs
So, fair.
Crocs have been doing several
All right,
partnerships.
So we do a lot of innovating here on the network. We actually have a lot of impact on the way that people talk about things. I mean, we got Gordon Goner to buy a fucking Super Yeti here on the network.
Dude, that's
like
fast.
let's
we gotta not forget that in the 2023 recap. Don't forget when Gordon Goner picked up a Yeti based upon what the Web3 network started.
And we didn't. Shout out to Squash Vans also. So there's some other things in there. Look, complexity chasm is another thing I've heard around in other spaces. So I'm not saying we created the term. I'm not saying we didn't. But look, Mo Runda was saying side piece is a great term to explain how a lot of traditional brands have been treating Web3, right? They're like, here, go off in the corner. If this works, we'll be here, but we're not going to support it from the account. So we're the main B here. We're not a side piece here. This is right from Reebok's website or profile. Excited to partner with FutureVerse to launch ReebokImpact in 2024. Reebok is not treating us like a side piece, ladies and gentlemen.
The primary, yeah, we are the primary partner. We're in the mix. That's cool. And yes, I love the bigger point that you lit off with there of how like we are integral to the culture. We're creating culture on the Web3 network every day with y'all, with our amazing co-hosts, contributors, friends in the space who show up. This is where culture's made, and the influencers of the influencers who everybody else copies, they're in this community. Just know that. Got to say it. Somebody's got to say it because they're never going to admit it. I mean, when other people steal the names of our shows after we've already been doing 120 shows to try and take our brand or rebrand theirs to use our same color palettes and similar styles that we've been using on our network. Like, I'm just saying, like people see what we're doing, whether or not they give us credit, man.
Okay, real quick, I'm going to hop into some other pieces. Unless we had any last thoughts on Reebok. You guys into ReebokImpact here?
No.
Okay. All right.
I haven't worn a pair.
So
I was hoping you guys
for
would
that.
say no.
I haven't worn a pair of Reeboks since I was in middle school.
Bicky. Nothing? Okay. All right. So, Hudah, I'd love your take here. Bitcoin ordinals obviously were a huge topic yesterday. Of course, the space has moved on from all that FUD. But we did have a huge announcement from Sothebys here right after this Bitcoin dev basically said ordinals are going to be kapoof in 2024. We had Sothebys coming out. It was Sothebys Metaverse, I should add. That's saying we're thrilled to present our inaugural Bitcoin ordinals sale featuring Bitcoin shrooms. So well-timed announcement here. What are y'all's thoughts?
I mean, bullish as hell for Bitcoin ordinals. And I'm checking right now, but when I looked this morning at the auctions, they already were over $120,000 in bids on just 3 of these guys. Right? So
wait, it's live now?
It's live. It's live. Yeah. So one of them has a $42,000 bid. Another one has a $50,000 bid. The other one has a $28,000 bid. And actually, by the way, when I'm looking at that, like the last piece that I looked at that has that $28,000 bid, that's with 33 bids in right now. So it's not just the first bid. Like people are bidding these up.
I'm going to need a link here for that.
Yeah. Let me drop here.
The NFTs are dead. They're never coming back. Just remember, temper everything. Just remember what Rolling Stone told us. Their brilliant investigative journalism that proved the NFTs are finally worthless. So just remember that.
And guys, I do think these, like this collection, I do consider them maybe historic. Like I know that word is thrown around a lot, but they are in the first batch of Ordinals ever created, first few hundred at least. So to me, those are special. I don't buy into the 10K, collection on Ordinals, the first 10,000, or I don't think they hold any special value. But the first full collection and them being numbered so low, I do think matters a little bit. And then this just kind of solidifies it. It's like whether you believe it or not, you just need enough people to believe it, and this definitely adds to their puts a check in that category for them.
Shout out Pizza Daddy, GM sir.
All right, we can transition here to another story that's related to Sothebys, which is Vera Molnar's collection. Was Themes and Variation the collection that was auctioned off here, or was it one of her previous collections?
No, it was that one. It was a brand new mint.
Okay, brand new mint. So Themes and Variation was on Sotheby's, obviously, in that auction. They've been a pretty popular collection, but we want to kind of dedicate this part of the episode here, if I can find the right link, to say that Vera passed away, I believe yesterday or this morning here. And again, innovator on the generative art front back into the 1960s. You can see here a post dedicated to kind of explaining and a tribute here explaining kind of how she moved in the space back in those days. And again, she had that auction that did extremely well. Gif, we were talking about that auction and explaining like they were almost trying to have her put out this collection before she passed. And we can see here, founding mother of generative art, Vera Molnar, dies in 99.
Yeah, we literally called it like they're basically front running her, impending passing because she was already almost 100. But this is it's really smart. Honestly, they've now made sure that she is on the blockchain, and that her work will be remembered in this way, and people can now appreciate it and her impact on the art world and these new genres, these new styles, these new technologies and mediums and everything that is such a key part of all of NFTs and this new digital renaissance. Like this woman was at the forefront of it all, like innovating super early. Like it's crazy, like working on, early generative art principles and ideas back in the fucking 60s. I mean, that's wild. So that's why people call her like the godmother or whatever of generative art. Like, yeah, this is one of the true pioneers of the art form.
That is a perfect word, a pioneer, a visionary. What I think is fascinating is you see these people that are born with that gift to see things, right? They just see the space, they see the world differently, and they do things that nobody else can maybe even appreciate at the time. I find it fascinating that someone like her sees what we see in this space too, and she's here when so many other people aren't. Generative artists, I think, are seeing this vision, but her being here to do that one mint over the summer, I think just solidifies her vision, and I think it's extra special that actually did happen. But she was absolutely a pioneer of generative art, something I've been trying to study and learn over the past couple of years, and she deserves all the praise and all the words around her name.
Biggie, I'm going to give you the last words here. I also linked in chat a really awesome thread here detailing the different collections in her journey through kind of pioneering digital art. But Biggie, last thoughts, man.
I think it's awesome, man. I think it's such an interesting time, right, to celebrate her, right? And again, like for all the reasons, right? Like I know the market right now is obviously taking advantage, and some people are flipping her works for profit, and that's fine. Like this is not shaming whatsoever, but somebody again that was almost at the end of her life that was able to put her stamp on the blockchain as well, very much in line with Frank Herbert, somebody else that passed away recently, and he still got to do one of his drops posthumously with proof. I think it's important, right, to give credit where credit is due, and to be able to. I think it's very neat that we were still able to onboard these people that were pioneers in this thing, and be able to solidify their provenance in this new technology, which is the blockchain space, right? So really cool to watch. And I think you'll see more of that down the line. There's still people out there that have been doing digital work for a very long time, and have been able to also come into this new ecosystem and leave their footprint behind. It's really cool.
I think it's also just really interesting to look at. I mean, it sounds fucking morbid, but it's the reality of how art and commerce works, right? Like Nirvana wouldn't have become one of the most famous bands in history if Kurt Cobain hadn't passed away the way that he did, right? These are just the ways that it goes. But I think we haven't in the NFT space had too many super well-known creators that have passed away yet, that had their work on chain. A lot of money
yeah.
is one of the only ones that you can think of right now. And we just saw his work starting to appreciate. Flamingo DAO paying $12,000 or something for one of his I think an edition recently, and now we get to see what happens with Vera's work that she put on, was able to get through Sothebys onto the blockchain. So it's going to be very interesting, I think, as these sort of early indicators of like what does happen to NFTs for an artist once they're gone. We don't really have much of a track record yet.
All right, we're going to leave you here with a Biggie. Keep it short because we got to move on.
No, it's fine. We'll touch upon it some other time. It's a lot of money thing.
Would love to do it on a lot of money highlight. I'll leave you with these lines, folks. This is from Vera herself. I have no regrets. My life is squares, triangles, lines. All right, we will transition here. There's a ton of chatter happening here in the comment box. What collections under 0.01 BTC? I voted Kanye last time, and we'll again. Okay, Marty. We will be fudding Yuga. Maybe we're asking the questions around Yuga here in just a second. And Ben, do not do that. Don't do that. Pudgy Penguins on Solana. I just ran to my other monitor to check out what was going on. Cactus is saying Stoner Cats isn't coming back. So trying to get through all these comments while we were just talking about some different Sothebys collections and Vera. Guys, before we do, let's stay on the art piece. Biggie, give us a quick update here on Grails Season 5.
Grail Season 5 is coming. What else
Any
can
expectations?
I say? I don't. No, not really. The expectations is that there will be lots of surprises. They always are. Like Eli hits these things out of the park. I don't know how he curates them, what his process is. Maybe one time we can have him over and talk us through it, which I'm sure is very interesting. But one of the things that I love the most about Grails is that I always end up discovering it's never just one. It's like a couple, at least a handful of artists that I did not know about, right? And I think that's Proof's magic there. Like their production of these are next level. I do think of them as like the Emmys or Oscars of like Web3 artists. Like it's a great platform to introduce people to like these up and coming people that are like maybe undiscovered yet or just about to blow up. It seems to be the trend, right? Like whenever I see a Proof artist like come up on one of these Grails, it's only a matter of time before they launch their next collection or whatever, and they blow up in the space. I'm not saying all of them have achieved that just yet, but if you go back and look at all Grails, it's amazing. And again, that's credit to Eli there that just has like his finger on the pulse, of this space and has a great eye. And so I'm really looking forward to this. I'm seeing who's new and who makes it and being able to guess who it was.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job. He's been doing an awesome job
Expensive
curating. And I got to meet Eli when I did go down there and met up with you, Biggie, here in LA. And then he took us out and treated us to dinner. So nice guy too. Also appreciate that. Shout out Eli. Doing good work.
I'm going to transition us here into the market and NFTs and specifically on Solana. Hudah, I'm going to bring up some links here and kind of just show off what's happening, but I'd love to get your forecast breakdown if you've got anything for us on that side of things. But let me show this off really quick. The Jito airdrop netted a lot. You can see here this one individual was staking a single Jito staked Sol for $66 and got 5 Gs. You can imagine
what the Jito? What?
You can imagine what this
The
netted
trad
people who
fi
were
people.
staking more. Shout out to Saigo, who I'm not going to say how much he was able to get, but it was a solid amount. So the theme of the day here is Solana continues to win. I saw some people getting airdrops north of 100K, 200K. Just an amazing amount of money if you guys were able to get on over there and do that. You can see BONK price hit a new all-time high, or at least this year. Things are just absolutely blowing up. So I've laid the foundation here for you, Hudah. Anything on the Solana front, and then let's look at the broader markets. Hold on. Actually.
Do it! Just do it!
All right, that's a little loud. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me share my screen here real quick. And there's not a lot specific going on because it's something I mentioned in my video this morning. When we have these conferences and these events, the market kind of, I don't know, it just kind of treads water, it seems. So actually right now, looking at our forecast 500 index, again, this measures the value of the market. We're actually in the red. And I have not seen us in the red often in the past 2 months. Not down much, though, so it doesn't really mean a whole heck of a lot. But again, just pointing it out because I haven't seen much of that. I'm curious to look at Solana, though. I have not been peeking here at the leaderboard to see what's moving, where we're at in general. So I'm kind of looking at this live with you guys. Interesting project launched on Arbitrum. I don't know if you guys have even heard of this, if this was on your radar at all, but
I saw it, yeah.
Did you guys see that in GIF and Q? Did you guys see that?
Xi?
Nope.
Xi node?
Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Picture it like Gala Games, right? It's a gaming ecosystem. These NFTs represent your ownership of a node. If you own one of them, you actually earn their native token just by being a node. So that thing sold like crazy overnight. I think you had a lot of buyers from Asia that were buying into this project, and again, doing serious numbers. Actually, guys, if you look, Arbitrum has flipped Ethereum. That's actually crazy. So, okay, we were saying the other day, we wonder if Solana will flip Ethereum. I think your answer is right there. The fact that Arbitrum can in this short window of time.
So here's Psy Games, by the way, the project that Hudah is mentioning. I have not looked at the details around the node sale. I am not even on Arbitrum. I think the one thing that popped off on Arbitrum recently was wasn't one of the SocialFi platforms on Arbitrum? Wasn't it Stars Arena?
That
No,
was
that
on
was
Avalanche. What do we know on Arbitrum?
Well, Pixel Vault is not SoFi,
Prohibition.
Prohibition.art.
right?
Okay.
And Battle Plan is on Arbitrum.
Yeah.
It's growing and it's growing quick.
Interesting. I'm looking at the details around this as well.
Yeah, I saw this like late also Hudah, and I started tracking it. Looked really interesting. I thought the sale was today though, so I got my wires crossed there. But I'm lucky because apparently a lot of people lost a lot of money by clicking on the wrong link in the Discord. Yeah.
In fact,
you
I
can
think
still
that's
buy
the
you can still
collection.
buy nodes, by the way. I think they're a little more expensive than the 300, but like still I think it's more of a long-term play, though the risk reward is there, right? So but I'm still kind of wanting to see how this dust settles, because obviously when a good chunk of the community gets hurt, it's not the greatest start to something, right?
Yeah, and I know that the team is talking about making that right. But so initially I wasn't sure if that's legit because we're just crawling the blockchain, we get random stuff that shows up all the time. I saw that thinking we got to blow that collection away, but did some digging and Animoca's backing them, like they're backing everything. But that's just a stamp of approval I need to see on a project to at least know they're legit, that it's not like some kind of scam.
That is, I'll be interested to see how that develops over time because of the way that Animoca spreads out their investments. It's very much a shotgun approach. The Animoca backed is definitely going to lead to some people getting in to these different projects, but some of them aren't going to work out. You know, it's just the way it works. Okay, Hudah, did you see anything in the broader market on Ethereum? I'm looking at Blur as well. In hindsight, folks, and we can get into a little bit of Valeria game talk. In hindsight, should have done a little bit more digging here. We definitely bought the token But what we're about to pull up here is going to be the Genesis land that actually yields the assets. So tokens, I believe, plus cards. And those are up extremely high as well now, over 88% in the last.
I was talking to Cats about it.
day.
Like, it's interesting. And then you can like put them together, right? And have them yield more.
Yeah.
Like if you can make like super lands, it's interesting.
Yeah, you can spend Val to upgrade your land. Your land then yields more token. Again, those guys have built a very in a thoughtful way, built out a really good ecosystem over there. They've really seems like they've thought of everything. But yeah, they've got some kind of announcement. I don't remember if he said this, by the way, during the spaces, but some kind of announcement coming this week. I think it's a beta for their game 2 for some of their community members. So they got news coming.
Are you a land holder here, Hudah? Is this just a play for you, or are you long-term minded with it?
I'm not sure. I do have a land. I've had a land twice. I've bought it, sold it, bought back in earlier this week. I would love to be part of the ecosystem. So if I can find a way to keep it, I will.
I'm confused about like the land with the token and how they're doing this and why like other side is so strict about how they're separating out things right now, why they can't do things. Like I know it's regulatory concerns, like that's not the question, but I'm just like, why are they so confident and easy? Is it just because they're incorporated or overseas? Is it just that easy? Like, oh, we're a foreign company and
What's the
Look
question?
at that, huh?
separating from the coin.
What's the question?
Okay, other side, like why? Like my question is, why can't other side do what they're doing?
I
Right.
think you hit the nail on the head there, Gif. Like I think regulatory wise, because Yuga is incorporated in the United States, it's hamstrung tremendously. It's very much like proof with talons right now. Like there's certain things you can declare and tie into certain assets, and others which you can't. And so I think they have to be very clear, like careful about how they toe that line. When you're foreign, when you're a foreign company, you don't have those issues.
And remember,
ApeCoin is not a part of Yuga Labs.
that's true.
Because
But
of
is it
regulatory.
still a U.S.?
No, it's just not.
based?
That's just. Well, I don't know how exactly it would be. Like it's a if and question. It's like a different time.
I think there's no
if the US
question though that
wasn't
it can
hard on-
be that it can be tied to Yuga, right? Since
Yes.
ApeCoin is part of the Yuga distribution to all apes.
So
Therefore, I
answering the
mean-
specific question is just why aren't they going the same way as Valeria? It's because Valeria from the ground up said we're going to have this integrated into our game.
But you don't
that's
think
not-
that the reason they were able to do that is because they are incorporated elsewhere and not in the U.S.?
There's a variety of different reasons. There's U.S. companies that do it. There's non-U.S. that do it. I just think ApeCoin is not. I wouldn't make the apples to apples with ApeCoin because it's not from the ground up saying like we're building this inside of our ecosystem. They literally launched ApeCoin for whatever reason they did, and it's a DAO now. Like it's not Yuga Labs controlled. Do you see that?
No, I see that, and I understand why they're siloed from each other. But regardless, I think in the eyes of regulatory stance, it's a DAO that was formed around ApeCoin, and ApeCoin is a Yuga asset. So that's already an issue. I think that's why they're fighting in court right now, right? Like trying to clarify these things. And like I think if you're any other company that's been looking to launch any type of token or tie it to your assets, and if you're incorporated in the US, you got to be very careful how you announce things, what things are tied to what versus like if you're mainland, you don't give a shit about that. You can innovate, you can play, you can fucking have a good time.
It does seem like that's the case here, right? Because when ApeCoin launched, I think all of us assumed that would be the native currency of the other side and whatever they're building. But clearly we're not so sure on that now because of regulatory uncertainty, because they're trying to keep it all separate. And what I'm saying is you go look at the other side, other deeds, and like they've just been going into the floor while these lands are going up. What's the difference? Well, because these have token yields, right? It's just like, why aren't they doing it? It seems like the answer that we're all circling around is regulatory uncertainty within the US.
Other deeds does have use case in like Legends of Tomorrow, though. It is yielding certain things that people are like actually yielding off of. So they're playing with those expanded other deeds. It's not yielding ApeCoin for the reason that I just mentioned, because it's disconnected from Yuga. So
that would change things, though, right? People would be way more interested if it was directly yielding the token. That's
yeah,
all.
and I don't think that would be necessarily good for ApeCoin. I think we're
And guys, keep in mind, OpenSea delisted them, right? You can't buy those lands on OpenSea anymore. That happened probably a month or so ago. And so there are concerns about that coin and the way that those lands generate that token elsewhere.
Are we talking about Valeria or other dudes?
Yes. Yeah, Valeria.
Yeah.
love.
Yeah, you can only buy them on their
centralized
marketplace.
actors. Great.
Yeah. Now you can do them. I think you can trade them on Blur as well. I think
can.
I'm pretty
Hey,
sure.
but they're,
But yeah,
they're thriving, man. Right? So that says something too.
Yeah, I'm looking at the token price here. Let's see. 70 cents. Yeah, it shot up overnight a little bit, but yeah, it's doing extremely well here. I guess ApeCoin is definitely a combo we can come to here in just a moment. We've got some eBay pieces. I guess let me touch on this really quick for y'all and get to any of y'all's thoughts. 1 second. So this Champion Tactics Ubisoft, this is live now, by the way, as far as you're making it on the whitelist or not. So I can drop that link in there. If you went through the whole process, you can see if you're eligible for this. But Champion Tactics, I think Gifted was making the analogy to Sugartown Auras and saying, hey, we can't fade a free mint no matter what they look like. They're clearly going the pixelated route here. But yeah, let me find that link for y'all. But this is live soon. The whitelist is completely locked now, but you can check your eligibility.
oh wow.
Oh shit! I need to check.
So they said that a few days ago, but it wasn't truly locked. They said you could check your eligibility, but now it truly is, huh?
Yeah, let me try to find that.
You got me running over to the website.
Yeah. Oh man.
I wonder if we're gonna have a like a gas war with that mint. That would suck.
Well,
Yeah,
doesn't the whitelist stop you
Yeah.
from doing that?
If it's 100% whitelist enabled, then we should be good, right?
Well, so
How
their
many- it's
eligibility
three per
checklist.
mint, right? It's like 3 per whitelist or
I
something
think
like
that's
that.
right.
That might be an issue. Yeah.
See, but
If
this looks
everybody-
just
Yeah.
like it did the other day as far as check your eligibility. Well, when you go there, as long as you did those things like connect your Ubisoft account, connect your wallet, it's got a green check across the board. But I don't know that it tells me I'm actually guaranteed one.
Yeah.
It just
Being
says you're all
funny with
set
their
for the
words.
public mint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what it looks like. I signed up with 2 different wallets because I'm definitely trying to get it.
I was under the
And-
impression that you have to have like the champions role in Discord.
Yeah, this is what I'm seeing as well on X. So Gifted's post here is like on the website, and then when you see it on X, people are saying I got the whitelist secured, and you can see the 2x mints there.
Oh shit! So fuck. How are they doing that?
Yeah, you needed
Wait,
the
I'm
What are we
confused
missing?
now. It says- it
You
says
you
sales
needed the
ended.
champions role in the Discord. That
Oh
was
my
the issue.
god!
I was
are you
never in their
fucking
Discord.
serious, bro?
Yeah, that's
Oh
a
my god, bro!
Aha.
So this is already fucking minted.
We need to get to the bottom of this
Dude,
because we
this
might.
is-
It didn't mint, right?
Okay,
No, I don't-
it looks like
I haven't
CyberCons
seen
is
anything
offering
about it.
whitelist spots.
Yeah.
It says on the website you're
Yeah.
ready for public mint. It couldn't have minted, right? Like I don't.
It,
All
did,
right,
it didn't mint yet, but again, they're being just funny with how they're wording stuff. But if there's a role in Discord, at least we know that now that we have to somehow get
we
that.
can we can we
Yeah,
can
it
always
says
buy
not
on
even a date.
secondary at 10x.
I'm down. Yeah. Look, I'm down for that. Fuck it. I'll be your exit liquidity, folks. Okay, look, we're not going to jump in. If anybody has any details there for us, because we're kind of live fumbling around trying to figure out what's going on there. But yeah,
It's Thursday. Whatever. Deal with it.
all right. A couple quick pieces here that I want to get to. Hudah, I've got 2 of yours pulled up, and I want to touch on this eBay piece really quick and see if it has any legitimate legs here. But this is from Sammy.eth or .mocha now. Everyone's switching over. eBay just filed a patent for tokenization of collectibles. Bookmark this. 2 weeks ago, eBay filed a patent for NFTs. This would enable a digital twin to be created on chain representing a physical asset. So
Going the RWA route. That's awesome.
real world assets. Is this a big deal? They acquired Known Origin here in 2021. Is eBay still like a relevant player in that space?
No, and I think they never were, but I think this is an opportunity for them to do that. I mean, I don't know outside of NFTs if that's a heavily used, whatever marketplace anymore. I used to trade and flip on eBay all the time, and I've stopped since NFTs. So I don't know what it's like over there anymore. But the whole RWA thing just makes so much sense to me. Even like look at what Courtyard is doing. Clearly that model works if you can find the right products. I'm sure eBay is going to find something that works that, Courtyard hasn't done yet. And I think the other story you might be bringing up is land. Like there's just all these things IRL that are going to get tokenized. So eBay's now doing their part.
Here's a look at revenue over time here from 2005 when they were founded to 2022 today. So, I mean, they're still doing a solid amount here of volume. Yeah, I mean, this looks like a solid player getting into the industry potentially.
Yep.
I haven't traded anything on eBay in damn near 10 years.
It feels very old and old school after what we've been doing here. So I think you're not missing much.
All right, here we go, Hudah. I'm putting you up here. Tyler D talking about these RWAs, which you just mentioned, real world assets, token ownership of. Is this metaverse land or this actually like?
This is real land.
This is real land.
This is real physical land.
Look at that.
That's now tokenized, and you can take out loans on that. And I wonder if you can trade if you're. I imagine you're only trading the loans. You're not trading the land itself, but maybe not. I mentioned this morning how cool it would be to get a plot of land just because someone fat fingered it. Like somebody fat fingers a listing of land for like 0.01 ETH, and boom, you got your retirement lot.
That's the question to me. There's always going to need to be like some like middle ground here, because what if you have your tokenized your tokenized version or your title for your house or your car, and you get hacked?
Yeah, well, this is where this is where Web 2.5 comes to save the day, y'all. That's the whole thing. Nobody's ever going to go full Web 3 with a lot of these things. There's always going to be some kind of middleman or in between escrow or a company that has some kind of centralized authority to run things back. That's why all the big brands are creating their own platforms using tech and integrations and creating it in ways that they still control certain things. That's why things like Base have legitimacy. A lot of people could say like they could FUD it and be like, oh, it's too centralized and Coinbase is going to control Base. But I don't know, man. Base to me has such a bright future because of its association with centralized organizations that have a lot of power and control.
All right, the other piece here, Forbes Web3.
I did follow. I saw this and I followed Forbes Web3 from the Web3 account because I was like, oh Jesus, I guess we have to.
So this is just going to be everybody getting in and sweeping floors. Is this what I'm getting
Seems
to
like
here?
it.
Is this the counterpoint to Rolling Stone? If so, I mean, what a wild world we now live in, where Rolling Stone used to be the like rebellious, innovative, like investigative journalist, gonzo journalism out there on the bleeding edge of like what was happening in culture. And now they're just like a shitty BuzzFeed.
Yep.
And Forbes is out here being like, yo, we're adopting the tech. Here's why. Here's our thesis on why this actually fucking matters. We're actually looking into this and investing into this new technology. Yep. Oh shit.
What legitimate journalistic publication still exists?
Right here, bro.
Yes.
No, like with that
what
was
do you mean?
founded
For real?
pre-1990.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're fucking looking at it. What are you saying, my guy?
But I truthfully don't know because I don't really follow any of that kind of mainstream publications. But do you guys know what piece they bought, by the way? I don't know if it was in that tweet or if it's what I saved aside from that.
So
no, I don't. I'm interested.
It's a good one, guys. No, it's a good one. It's the Jack Butcher trademark. They bought a Jack Butcher. So I thought that was really interesting.
So the truth
Shout
about
out Malcolm
media,
Forbes. Right on.
none of these existing media companies are legitimate anymore because they all have been like we used to have independent journalism that was actually supported by the government, and so they weren't worried about clicks and baiting people and reality TV and TMZ nonsense because they could just focus on doing legitimate public service because they were a public service. That's what we used to have, was news that was an actual public service. And now all that's gone away. We don't really have any of that anymore. And we just have the media model, business model that's reliant upon driving clicks and views and advertising dollars. And so that has now become such a desperate clusterfuck and a cesspool that you get Rolling Stone publishing whatever dumb clickbaity bullshit will get you to go and fucking read their article for 5 minutes so they can sell ads against you. So the whole media infrastructure as it's been is completely corrupted. And that's why now Twitter and Elon Musk and people like us who are out here just doing it for the passion of trying to figure out some kind of truth and make signal from noise are legitimately the only ones. CoffeeZilla, people like that are the only people that are actually doing real fucking journalism at this point.
I love that we're having a mini breakdown here as well of that point in our chat. Squashman just said, God, I hate YouTube ads. God, I hate YouTube ads. So look, we're trying to support ourselves. I know it doesn't bring in that much, but you guys are actually helping support this channel by watching those ads. YouTube has pinged me a couple times. I could turn those ads up. I could turn them off. I could put them right in the middle, which is exactly where they're at right now. But
crank it to 11. That $30 we're making a month, Q, is not doing it for me.
Yeah, we need to double that. We're gonna double those ads for y'all up there. You might want to move to Brave. I shouldn't have said that. YouTube, we didn't say that at all. Vice, I don't think it meets that level and that rating these days. Quantum Variant, all these media companies take money from ads that dictate their content. A lot like as we move back into politics, our senators there up on Capitol Hill taking the money from warmongers and the pharmaceutical companies. All right, political talk aside,
dude,
I'm
so excited for 2024. It's gonna get so political. Oh my god,
it's gonna be
fucking
wild.
wait.
I'm with you. I'm honestly, I'm not even kidding. I can't wait.
All right, Parallel is excited to announce the full roster of participants in the Parallel Creator Invitational. There's some rewards to this as well, $25,000 in prizes. They have some Team Liquid players, by the way, on this list. So apparently we're going to get some big streamers here getting out the Parallel game on Twitch and a couple of those other platforms. So just wanted to briefly give our Parallel and Prime shout out there. And all right, let's do it.
I gotta briefly shout out Cam Taylor over here for being incorrect. I love you, Cam, but Vice News lost the script a long time ago. They are like Rolling Stone, where they started out very edgy, doing awesome investigative journalism. Bro, if you've been watching the stuff that they put out the last couple of years, it is trash. It is TMZ, culture war, identity politics bullshit, bro. They lost the script a long time ago.
I thought they went bankrupt. They're still around?
They probably did because
they're tweeting about NFTs and Web3, man. They said we were dead as well. I think there was like a Vice article that had that same thing.
Because it's the same model. They're playing the same model.
Okay, I really don't have a specific story to talk about when it comes to Bored Ape Yacht Club and Yuga Labs. We are going to jump into that portion of the conversation. I guess the biggest two stories around that ecosystem are, one, the Gordon Goner interview with NFT Now, which I thought was fantastic, and it really spoke to why he's such a leader in our industry. He understands, and a lot like Luca Netz and a couple of these other leaders, they understand the pulse of this industry, and they understand how to make it move. So I'll link that as well. I guess another piece is Yuga Labs is touching on Legends of the Mara 2, which just came out, which had like nobody talking about it. No one wanted to talk about
Other
Legends of the Mara.
Space. Shout out Other Space. They're literally
holding it
keeping
down.
that whole thing alive right now. There's
It's
nobody
weird.
else.
Like, as somebody now who does make content, like the fact that I knew that was a story, I saw it and I chose to not talk about it.
Dude, same.
Like,
I put in like
really
a
weird.
Pixelmon story over Legends of the Mara 2, and it hurt me.
yep.
I
I
okay.
don't know what to say about it. I'm kind of shocked.
I'm gonna try to-
Imagine the different timeline if
Oh my
like
God.
if the game had been
Heavy
actually if it
Metal
had
would be like 3.
slapped. If Heavy Metal had been a good game, if it had fucking slapped, and then Legends of the Mara came out and it was even more fun, imagine the different timeline we would be in right now.
Yeah, and I'm cherry picking a little bit, but I'm looking at Yuga Labs Gaming, right? This is their arm of the company that's focused primarily on gaming. You can see that their updates for season 2 got 31,000 views, which again, I'm cherry picking. That's not a lot when it comes to a project of this size. They do have more, like the amps, for example. The amp announcement got 100K views. But this pales in comparison to like bigger, I think, announcements. Like I'm sure if I went to Illuvium right now, it would their major announcement would be way higher. You can see also Gifted, our amps are not going to be doing anything until spring of 2024.
I don't even think I fucking got any of my. I got like 1 or 2 maybe, bro. Like.
Oh, we still have our
farmed-
amps.
Okay,
We bought
yeah.
those.
So you did more farming. Thank goodness. Shout out Q
For no reason.
Literally, yeah, for no reason, but for doing the work anyway. Bro, when Heavy Metal Forge launched, I farmed it for like the first like week or two, couple weeks, and then I just stopped. I was just like, you're the one that literally put the words calling it a farming simulator. That's what it was, bro. And it was like over the course of months. It was just not a good experience at all, man. And, you know, again, you've been the one who's been out there being like, dude, they dropped the ball like crazy on it. It sucks. It's unfortunate because, yeah, you could see things being so much different if it hadn't been so bad.
It's fair. Hudah, real quick, I just want to kind of lay a little bit more foundation because, again, there's not really like a major story that leads us to putting it on the thumbnail in that way. There's no like FUD moment. Bored Ape Yacht Club has not moved from this 28 to 31 range in months. And Mutant Apes, same thing. Heavies have been up and down based on those announcements we just told you about. So that's kind of the conversation is 2024 rolls around, everything runs more than it's already ran. Is Bored Ape going to be part of that? Is Yuga going to be part of that? I think that's the bigger combo. But Hudah, what were you going to say right before we started?
Okay. So it's just a general point. Remember they split off that Yuga Labs gaming Twitter account or X account from their main account. They used to get so many more views because those tweets were coming from the Yuga Labs account. So it's just interesting to know, to see that they know that is performing so poorly that they had to get it off of their main account and put it somewhere else again. But that is impacting the view and the discoverability of what they're doing with their game. I mean, they probably have Yuga Labs fans that aren't even following that account that just don't keep really up on things. So I just wanted to make sure to point that out. Man, I just got this funny feeling. I think I've said it here before that Yuga Labs will mint another PFP. Just, I don't know why. Something tells me they would do something like that to help with the relevancy, but also I know they have an issue with those Bored Apes and the ability to brand them because of those accusations that have been thrown at them over the years, as unfounded as they may be. That problem is still there. So I wouldn't be shocked to see a new Yuga Labs PFP that Bored Ape holders get, right? Like automatically they just get it and it's airdropped, and maybe there's a new, I don't know, 20K collection that other people can also buy too. But I just think Yuga Labs is known for doing splashy things, and I'm kind of thinking something like that would happen.
Damn.
Yuga Labs on Solana.
Of course. That's exactly. Yeah. This makes sense.
So Biggie, Gif, I want your all's takes here. I also want to play Daniel Allegre real quick. I just saw this when I'm kind of looking at these general stories. Again, that's the big thing with Yuga right now. There's nothing really happening. They're like, the space is rocketing. Nothing's happening on the news front. The team isn't really giving us any information on the other side. What do you do? So here's Daniel Allegre here, who's getting some information out about BAYC.
First joined, I was still seriously with the mindset of the opportunity in gaming is so big. And then when I saw the passion of the community and the connection, just the overall opportunity, I changed to really thinking through how do you make this much, much broader? It's not only in gaming, it's in shopping, it's in social, it's in music. Art obviously has been transformed by it. What I want Yuga to do is not only to continue to build out these tremendous communities and connections, but also evangelize what Web3 can really do and how transformative it can be. And that's why our mission is building culture on the blockchain. Essentially, I want Yuga to be the front door to Web3 and make Web3 a lot easier for people to use.
So like Pudgy Penguins?
Like everybody, right?
Well, to me, that is like, I think that the heavy metals were their sort of like foray into trying to create that like cuter, funner collectible, you know what I mean? And go that way. But they got kind of like lost in the like farming simulator game aspect of it. I could see them continuing to expand the IP into more of that really accessible, family-friendly IP direction that we've seen so many others trying to do. So many of these companies see the potential to be out there in some kind of mass market product world, right? And Bored Apes have part of that, but it's kind of like the fratty, broy, let's get drunk and play beer pong or like go smoke a ton of weed. And that's fucking dope. Like we love that. Let's go party. But there is a much bigger market that I think he's talking about trying to address. And so how do you do that through Yuga? They need different types of IP that have more of that family friendly appeal. So how do they get there? And that's where I think there's some credence to what Hudah's saying of like, yeah, there might be more airdrops or at least more collections dropped that are not so crypto bro, Web3 frat boy, I don't know.
There's a lot to talk about here. Biggie, the broader conversation again is, are we going to see this just literally beloved? Like, I know that we have some fudders here in the chat. Marty McFly, I see you, talking about how like it might not be a part of next cycle and things like that. Moonbirds is another one. Like, this goes into a broader conversation of these projects that have been around, that are they going to participate in all this when you can see in the very short term of this latest run, they didn't.
I think we have to be prepared for that to be the case. It's a possibility, right? Like, now, how do they not participate? I mean, are they going to zero, as some of our local fodders like to say? No, not necessarily. But I think they're in a different phase of building, right? Like, and like in a different instance in community. And just because of how crypto and PFPs and art culture like behave in these markets, like, yeah, like we may not see them have the same effect that they had in the last cycle, right? Like, it might take them a little while to show what they've been building and what they've been doing, and to see whether the community can stomach, say, another 10K drop or collection, or diluting, as they like to call, right, the assets. So it remains to be seen. Having said that, I think I don't know, like the apes are such a prevalent part of the lore and narrative of PFP culture. I don't see them going to zero. Like, I don't know about like the gaming arm and the Yuga stuff like that maybe could see some sort of correction. But again, like, from the little visibility that I've had and what they've been able to do with, other side, I'm not bearish on them. Yeah, I think it's just where we're at right now.
I want to preface this as well too. Like, nobody thinks, if you think Yuga's going to zero, that's a tough. I would not bet that, and I would guess that person would not put money on that, like actual cash on that. The fear is that they don't do anything, right? The fear is that they stay where they're at when everything else continues to move. So
the things, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Well, so I saw Quantum make a comment here in the chat that we're underestimating how many of the assets are changing hands daily, like the Yuga assets getting traded at a high volume. Man, I have looked at that, and I look at that a lot because we filter out wash trades on CryptoSlam. It's almost, I mean, okay, in a bull market like this, it's different, but man, there are certain days in this bear market where it's no trades. And I saw for days on end, no real trades, all wash trades. So if we're looking at just activity in the Yuga Labs collections, I would say a huge majority of that trading volume is not like tangible, real trades, whatever you want to call them.
Now, Hudah, one of the things you said that I'm very curious about is like, do you think you mentioned like, you know, all the things that were said and how it affected the brand, right? In spite of the fact that they've already been cleared of these charges, and we know that there was no pedophiles or whatever the fuck they were. Do you think that there's like a line where FUD can hurt a brand so much that they literally need to rebrand or try, or that they can never come back from it?
Yes, I do. I didn't believe that before. But when I started hearing these like very public YouTube people who are not crypto people or NFT people, but they still refer to them as the racist monkeys or JPEGs or whatever, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, the damage those guys did, Polly and Ryder, I'm like, I didn't realize it. But they did that damage because now there's millions of kids and young adults who that's what they heard. And that's all they're ever going to
That's what they are.
That's why they lost a lawsuit for that. They're paying for that because they did actual damage to the company and to the brand. So that's real. But here's the thing that it's easy to lose sight of, again, when you're focused on like the day-to-day looking at charts and shit, is remember what they already have that almost no other collections have. They have brand awareness outside of the space that almost nobody has. They have actual infrastructure, a token, a DAO, a whole gaming community, like some of the best events. Like Machi just has about 13 or 14 million dollars that is literally going into purchasing and distributing these to museums and galleries, and like literally adding more value to the collectors and the brand. There's so few collections, almost none, maybe zero, that could even literally just do that. Have a war chest of millions of dollars to just focus on outreach to galleries and brands. And when you see Forbes starting to come back in, when you see these big names starting to come back in and buy NFTs, there's very few where they're going to be looking for valuable PFPs. And Bored Apes is always going to be at the forefront of that list of consideration. So that's the thing that's like, yes, maybe not a lot of people right now, because we're not still adding in a bunch more money, are trading 30 ETH right now. So you don't see that yet. But once this shit starts moving, dude, Moonbirds, Bored Apes, some of these bigger collections that have all of that established brand equity and infrastructure and community already there, those are going to be the ones that fucking rocket, because they've been sitting there without a lot of liquidity, without a lot of listings, etc. So that's all I'm saying, man. It's very easy. Like we always get so fucking focused on what's happening right now and forget like what these projects and these companies now have already accomplished.
What they've accomplished, and I'll get up on my soapbox and for Yuga all day for what they've accomplished. It's the greatest example of decentralized brand building that has ever existed. And I don't even think Pudgies is trying to go this route. Like, there's not these licensing that they're trying to do for Pudgies, at least at scale. Like right now, it's very top down. It feels like you got what Luca's creating. He's creating this awesome fucking brand that's being seen everywhere. But it's not like what you see with Bored Ape, where they're just like, go create your own company. Like, it's not at that scale where you have literally hundreds of different companies building out off of the Bored Ape IP. There's nothing like that. What's the closest collection that's doing anything like it? Can you name one?
I don't think there's anybody even close. I do feel like that's something that the Pudgy Penguins are maybe working towards. Luca just had, Yuga Labs has a crazy head start over him from when he took over the project. But there's nobody competes with Yuga almost on any front. I'm with you. I'm with you completely there.
Love that comment from Squash too.
Yeah, you got to remember those posts, right? Like back in the day when they dropped the ape coin and just people paying off their houses, sending kids to college, all these I remember just seeing my feed of just like people like so much love for Yuga. And I don't know, I've been alive in this world for 44 fucking years. I've never seen any company, web 1, web 2, web whatever the fuck, ever do that for any holder. I don't care who you are, like, I'm sorry. It is unique just in that respect, right? And like, I don't think people forget that very easily.
No, and even if they like got away from the culture a little bit and kind of like started to, I don't know, maybe that like died down a little bit or wasn't as much of a focus, they still have more than almost anybody, and they're refocusing more on that culture on the blockchain. So again, it's like, if that's where they're investing more of their time and energy, just like think about the potential there, because they already have way more culture and infrastructure to support that culture.
I'm looking at Squashman's comment here. We've literally been scrutinized on all fronts by everybody. No other project has endured what BAYC and Yuga has by Web3 normies. So it shows the resiliency of the community and the fact that it still has such. And I don't want to get into the debate around the Nazism or the racism, all this stuff that always everybody wants to point to and talk about. Like, I'm just not, like, it's a fucking black hole conversation.
They also just litigated this in a court of law. So there's also that to like factor in. Like, don't forget that regardless of whatever opinions are out there, they literally just went through a painful court process having to go through this because of all these allegations, and they came out as clear winners against what they called libel and what they called basically just attacking them without any real reason to. This was all just litigated. They won that. So that is not an opinion. That is a fact.
Along with Coinbase, I think the other like ginormous like person that's championing this Web3 space, right, and trying to get regulatory clarity is Yuga. It's Coinbase and Yuga leading that front, taking the fucking, I don't even want to know what they're paying daily for their lawyer just to try to get this cleared up. But everybody's going to benefit from it, folks. So yeah, like, I don't know, man, like to hate Yuga, it's asinine if you're into NFTs, in my opinion. Like, it's fair to say I don't like them, the vibe, or I don't like the artwork. I'm not into gaming. That's all fair. It's great. But to not like this company is very
DP. I look, I'm not even gonna like your comments are ridiculous. Like, I don't even want to address them. Like, what do you? So you're calling me a racist? Like, I just what are you inferring? This is why this conversation starts to get ridiculous. But Gif, what were you gonna say?
Squashman saying people got psyoped by Polly and Ryder and didn't bother to look at Ryder's past. I think it is important also to look at the source of these allegations and the information and understand that the people who were doing this were not, they didn't have some good altruistic agenda of uncovering like, malicious behavior or something. These were opportunists that were profiting off of like hyping the shit out of this and taking down Yuga. They turned it into a media spectacle to promote themselves, and then launching projects off the back of that, and literally took down millions and millions of dollars, not just through the NFT project, but by launching tokens off the back of that. So like, understand like the source of all of these allegations and like coming out and like trying to paint Yuga as like these awful fucking people. Like, look at the sources of these information and what were their motives. It was not to try and uncover these awful people. It was to try and make money off the backs of them. That's what this was. That's important to factor into whatever you think is like a legitimate, like, oh, look at this news source, what they're saying, these allegations, they must be true. It's like, dude, these are not legitimate allegations, and a court of law literally just ruled that.
I don't even clarify something.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just, was that what the ruling was about, or was it simply the trademark?
It was
because
both.
I thought the lawsuit.
It was both.
I gotta go. I definitely have to go look into it again, because I thought it was strictly on, kind of the like trademark and copyright kind of stuff that they lost on and have to pay over. Nothing to do with.
It was both.
Okay. Yeah, I'll read more about it.
I almost don't want to speak the poly stuff like into like and give it any airtime and breathe any oxygen into it most of the time. The reason I wanted to have this combo to begin with is Marty's point here is that I think penguins flip apes in 2024. This is Marty's words, not mine. Also, he's saying best episode ever. Smack the like for Yuga FUD. But that was the original point of this conversation, not to get dragged into the conversation that we're kind of in now. Do penguins flip apes in 2024?
Yes.
Point blank.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Not because the penguins. I've thought this for a while, guys. I think we've been going through this price discovery, right? Everything was priced so damn high. It was really unrealistic, right? Prices had been coming down throughout this year. I think when I heard Lucas say that penguins would be the most expensive PFP, he's changed his tune a little bit. But when I heard him say that, I'm like, how could that be realistic? I'm like, that's only realistic if Bored Apes come down. And so I think we're going to keep seeing this more realistic pricing of NFTs. Bored Apes come down, pudgy penguins come up. They meet somewhere in the middle. But I do see that as a possibility, at least. I don't know where that happens.
That would be wild, man. That would be the ultimate comeback story. I mean,
if Bored Apes get down to 28th or so, you never know where these things can, just kind of end up. It could happen.
I simultaneously hate the combo we had, but it's still context of what are people going to see from the outside getting into this space. If it's a negative look, I could totally see Pudgies like being that one that everybody's kind of aping into because it doesn't have any type of negative sentiment that we just discussed.
Now, what do you think Hudah would need to happen like on the Pudgies front for it, right? Because we already got the Walmart thing. Okay, say they smash records, they get that reorder that everybody's looking for, right? With Walmart. That's a win. I still feel like there's more. To me, if you ask me, I'm like a token. And the third one is some type of IP like story, like we're coming out with a movie, a series, I don't know, something like that. Those two things, 3 if you want to add the smashing record with Walmart, could definitely propel it tremendous. Like 20
nail on the head. Those are definitely the things. I mean, yeah, I don't.
Okay, right on.
I don't know what else. I mean, Luca's so damn creative. He could be bringing something that we hadn't even considered, but I don't know. I mean, those things.
My sticking point there is like, okay, like I can see him smashing records and getting that reorder. I can definitely see him already being in talks with some studio or something to bring out.
Yes.
As is Bored Apes, as is like Mythics with Proof, as is so many others, right? Like from there, from production to actually creating a narrative or a story that kids will engage with and everything. That's a whole nother conversation.
Oh man.
But
Netflix
the other one
series of pudgy penguins or something, right? Like, yeah.
Token is the one where I'm like, guys, like if you're watching Yuga, if you just saw Proof with Talons, it's like that's the last one that you want to be having your holders on, be speculating on, right? Like especially at these prices, because if it fumbles, if it doesn't come through, if it's delayed, what have you, that can be bad. That can be a killer, right? And out of those 3, I wonder like how many people buying into it right now, especially now that it's rocketed up, very much like Mad Labs, right? Like what are people going after right there? Like because if you're counting on like the Walmart smashing records and getting a reorder or the IP, you're going to be waiting for a while. So to me, that just leaves token, and that's a dangerous thing to speculate on. I think like right now, I don't know, unless you are foreignly incorporated in a foreign place and you don't have that issue. So
right, yep, agree with everything you said.
Shout out to Orlando, who is an old school Lads community member. This is wild. This is I'm having a full moment here. Aloha Lads fam, let's drop some alpha. Crypto bull run is in effect. Let's surf this wave. Big shout out, huge OVOT, man.
Anyway, we got to write that narrative. There's the Mad Labs, and then there's the Lads. There's the Lads. Okay. There's such a thing.
We'll talk about that off stage here. Real quick. Gordon I don't know how we can say Gordon left y'all hard. We just saw Gordon and he's been in the community and advising Yuga apparently is his role. Like, I don't have the direct connection. I'm not in those conversations, but Gordon is clearly back and has an effect on the ecosystem. And then last thing I'll say on the Bored Ape piece is we're at like negative, like almost like either baseline sentiment here on BAYC or just like still going down here on BAYC based on them not moving. Like the thought that they're not going to do anything to get the flywheel going in the right direction makes me think that like this is just a situation of recency bias and like, oh, is Bored Ape going to do this? Well, if they have a couple wins, this thing can easily start to go back in the right direction. So
and they have great timing too, right? I feel like that's one thing Yuga's been known for is like they've got great timing. I'd be surprised if they don't already have something like, I don't know, New Year's, Christmas or something. They're just going to drop some tremendous fucking announcement.
Another trip would be welcome. Diary of a Pro Gambler, funny name by the way. I think Yuga will push the upcoming 10 KTF Grailed PFP collection as their new flagship over Bored Apes. That is quite a gamble, sir. I might want to take you up on that one. I don't know why they would all of a sudden replace Bored Apes as their tentpole.
That would have to benefit the Bored Ape holders first and foremost. That is what they do.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, glad to see you here. What a day, what a week. A lot of interesting conversations.
And you know it's gonna continue rolling throughout the week. And I'm just hoping we get a little bit of touch grass IRL disconnect for a little bit. Like honestly, if you guys see me in the Telegram, just tell me get the fuck out. Please help. It's a bit much.
All right, fantastic episode here. We are at about stop time, so we are going to go around the quad box here in just a moment. Don't really have too much more. I think, Biggie, you're expecting this to continue throughout the weekend. Do we generally feel like this is going to just keep... Are we just going to stairs up? Like, this is
it's over, man. Yeah, I think, like, until we hit February... Our nerves are gonna be fucking just burnt out, man. It's until like tax season is almost around the corner that we'll see like some sell-off or something. I mean, obviously barring again like the looming macro environment elsewhere, but I mean, I think we, if you're a charts guy, I think we've smashed through everything right now. Like you cannot show me a fib or a moving average or anything that I'm sorry. It's just like unexplainable behavior and we're in it for the ride. So let's just have fun and see where it goes. I just try not to get caught up too much in the FOMO. And like I was joking, but I do try to like disconnect and go touch grass and just sit on my hands and not try to think that I can mint and be in everything important. I know. I think you all agree it's something to embrace.
This has been really fun to be able to do these over the years. And one of the best things that I've seen about this community that we've been able to carve out is that for the most part, everybody wants to see everybody else win. And we just saw that with Bored Ape, where it's just like, guys, you're in the NFT space. Like, you should probably want these guys to take a couple dubs. But we've seen across the space, not a lot of people. I think people compare themselves a lot to what other people are doing. And, there's a ton of stuff going on. And people maybe don't want the best for everybody in this industry. So happy to be doing this with y'all each week. And it feels like we at least want to see each other win.
Heck yeah.
I want to see Kagi do an oral act on himself.
I love that guy.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
This guy's wild. Ron to $50, not financial advice.
Oh man, I believe it. I'm a believer. At least like $20.
Marty, you know what? I appreciate at least Marty is appreciating the show more than average because we got into some Yuga FUD today. Shout out Cats Fanatic over there making our shows even better today. Just by participating, by being you, by bringing in your passions and connecting with us and being patient also. Sometimes it takes us a minute to get to it, but yeah, I appreciate you a ton. Smash the like, our vibe, our tribe, whatever Nifty Q wants to say.
Hudah and Biggie Poppins, let's head out of here, man.
Yeah, okay, first off, Thank you guys. Like, really, thank you for like the birthday wishes and for being, you guys have been really nice to me now for probably over a month now since we've been hanging. So really it does mean a lot. I appreciate you guys and it's been a blast for me. Today's shows, both the spaces and this one, I think they might be my favorite. I don't know why. I just like the vibe. Something about it. It was a really good time. Love the project that came on, but the conversation was just great. So kudos to you guys for always putting on a spectacular show. The other thing I wanted to say, I wish you guys knew Katz as long as I did to see his growth in the space. Like just going from being new and, learning and navigating to where he's at now, where he's like he makes these killer alpha calls. His NFT IQ has really grown off the charts. So awesome, dude. Special dude.
Is there a Katz Telegram we should be joining or something?
Well, you're kind of in it, man. It's the idiots.
Oh, it's the idiots.
That's definitely the spot. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. We'll see you next Monday, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And we're gonna continue to be nice to you. We're gonna show you some MLM here in like the next 3 weeks. Just be ready for it.
Nice.
I appreciate you, bro. Biggie Poppins, send us out.
I thought I had already said goodbye,
Nope.
but
Nope.
man, I love y'all. OVOT fam. How fantastic weekend. Again, like I said, just if you do start feeling that FOMO creep up, just make some space, take some time. We're just the beginning of these things. And if you miss something, don't beat yourself up over it because again, we're just in the fucking beginning. There's a ton of opportunity coming and we've got the best community here. I think like you're going to have plenty of opportunities. So just, enjoy the time. This is what we survived the fucking bear for.
Absolutely. Our tribe.